What's going on, guys? Doug here, aka Fearless. Today I'm making a video on this here Snapper 2-cycle engine powered single stage snowblower. It's an SX5200E, meaning it has the electric start option. It's a 5 horsepower, 20-inch, 10.5 tall single stage commercial grade snowblower that was built by the genuine Snapper company. A little history on Snapper. Snapper was its own company, and in 2003 Snapper was bought out by Simplicity, another great American manufacturing company of small power equipment. And then in 2004, Briggs & Stratton bought out Simplicity. And now Briggs & Stratton makes Snapper and Simplicity products that are really just built by Briggs & Stratton. And most of them aren't as good or nearly as good as they were back when these companies were on their own. Now, if you look at this machine, you think, well, man, it's only a couple years old. 5 years old tops. Actually, it was built in 1999, so it's just about to be 20 years old. I found this at the curb right down the road yesterday, being thrown out. Got it home, nothing wrong with it. Started right up. Actually, my mother was heading somewhere, and she saw it and called me. I was out back repairing a leaf blower. She called me, said there was a snow blower out at the curb. I went, sure enough, there it was. And this isn't a rich neighborhood. This is a working class neighborhood. So, I mean, I don't know why these people threw it away. There wasn't nothing wrong with it. I can tell you right now, these machines right here retailed for about $700 new. And they were dealer-only items, and they were geared towards your professional commercial snow removers. And that's why I'm going to end up keeping the machine, because I do commercial snow removal, and this machine will be perfect for it. It has a 2-cycle Tecumseh 5 horsepower 139cc 2-cycle engine. It has the electric start option, which made this one a little bit more expensive. It utilizes the same tall chute that the heavy-duty Snapper snowblowers that were made used. The frame is all metal steel construction. It's not cheap plastic. The machine has very little use on it. The paddles have very little wear. The scraper bar has practically no wear on it. Other than a little bit of surface rust and paint chip in a few areas, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this machine. And from the looks of the paddles and scraper bar, you know that belt has no wear on it either. I was looking on YouTube yesterday to see if there was any videos of these units. Very, very few. There was like 2 or 3 of them being started and run, being sold for auctions. That's it. There was none describing them. There was none showing them really running. In the winter, I will show this machine throwing snow. I have the brochure for this machine from my machine, and this blower throws snow anywhere from 25 to 35 feet. Due to its size, width, and height, and that tall chute with the 5-horse 2-cycle motor, I'm sure it throws snow, no problem. Right down to the pavement, won't clog, and it'll throw the heavy slush. These are some of the best single-stage snowblowers that were ever built. The best single-stage snowblower that was ever built by Snapper, including the ones they built later by Briggs. Nothing touches these. They made an older version of this that they call the 3201, that had a 3-horse engine and used basically the same frame with a slightly smaller chute, and it looked different up front and said Snapper on the plastic. This was the later version of it. They only made this machine for about 3-5 years tops. They probably only made it up until 2002, maybe 2003. There might have been a few stragglers left in 2003 or 2004, depending. Okay, but I know from the operator's manuals, it was first printed in 1997. So this version would have came out in 1997 and ran probably till about 2002. So it had a 5-year run. That was it. The older version, like I said, had a 3-horse Tecumseh. This has the 5-horse Tecumseh, so it has even more power. Okay, the handlebars on this are adjustable for height, so you can actually make these go up if you wanted for a taller individual. They're set just where they need to be for me. Okay, they also fold down for easier storage. They're also made to slide off the back of a pickup truck with ease. Although it's not very heavy either, and you can easily lift it. Okay, I mean, it has the nice crank for the chute right here. It's got the electric start, the pull start. It starts real easy on one pull, so there's really no even reason for me to use the electric start. Plus, it's a cord electric start, and when I'm out in the field, I'm not going to be using electric start. Your primer and your choke, your access to your carburetor, okay, your cable to turn your auger on, which I will show this thing running. But yeah, it starts on one easy pull, and like I said, I brought it home. Basically, all I had to do was clean it up. The electric start switch box was dangling from the control panel because the nuts behind the control panel on the other end of these bolts came loose and fell off, and they were inside of there, so I had to put them back on. The tank was dry of any fuel, but there was residual 2-cycle oil in there. So when I first put more 2-cycle mixed gas into the tank, it smoked really, really heavy until it burned off all that residual oil. And I had to add a little bit more straight gas to let it run and burn off the oil. It's a 2-cycle engine, so that means if oil and gas is mixed. Another important thing to note is they don't make snowblowers with 2-cycle engines anymore. The EPA put a stop to it. They smoke a lot more, so they pollute a lot more. The only places you'll really find 2-cycle engines still in use are in the marine areas, you know, boats. Okay, otherwise you really don't see 2-cycle engines put to use anymore. Everything's 4-cycle overhead valve now. So this was the last of the snappers, or genuine snapper single stages, and the last that had actual 2-cycle engines. So they rev higher than a 4-cycle engine, a little louder. So they were really good for a single stage unit because they revved higher. They're lighter engines. You know, it made them lighter. It just made them more. It just made them better for these single stage applications. Although now I have a modern Poulon Pro single stage snowblower with a 208cc, 6.5 horsepower 4-cycle engine, and that thing's a beast. That thing throws snow like a two-stage snowblower, except it's a single stage snowblower and doesn't clog. So that's my primary single stage. This will now become my secondary single stage since I do snow removal. But if I was to sell this machine, which I wouldn't, I could still eat. These things command $300 easy now in the middle of the spring. You could still get $300 for it, easy. The commercial snow remover guys, you know, they see these, they want them because these things competed with Toro, and these things are actually better than Toros. They're better than Toros. They are. These were the best single-stage snowblowers that were pretty much ever built, and built by Snapper and the genuine Snapper company. Like I said, later the Briggs built some Snappers that have 4-cycle engines. They look like they could do okay, but again, they're all plastic. You know, they're not made to hold up. This If you maintain this, replace the scraper bar and the paddles as needed, this machine will continue to go and go and go. And as long as you maintain the engine, these will go for a very long time. I see a lot of the old ones from the 80s still around because they were taken care of. And a lot of them are beat because people didn't maintain the paddles. But this one was barely used. You can still get the paddles, you can still get the scraper bar, you can still get the belt, so that's not an issue. Those are the only pretty much wear parts on the machine. What else is there to mention? So since it is a 2-cycle engine, it does smoke more naturally. It does that because it's a 2-cycle engine. It's not 4-cycle where it has separate intake and exhaust valves. The oil and gas is mixed. It goes right into the combustion chamber and burns at the same time and goes right out the exhaust. So you get a little more smoke. Not a big deal. So when you see there's a little bit of smoke when I start it, you'll see why. But here's the model tag. Alright, like I said, it's an SX5200E. It was built in 1999 by the real genuine snapper company in McDonough, Georgia. It's got a Tecumseh 2-cycle engine, 139cc. It's the HSK850. HSK850. It says to mix the oil to 50-to-1 ratio. It says if you use, and that's for the NHHA standard 2-cycle oil in the United States. Outside the United States, where you're not having the NHAA standard oil, they say to mix it at 32-to-1. So I just run it at 40-to-1 because I have all my equipment run at 40-to-1. This way I only have to mix up 1 gas container, and that's perfect. It might smoke a little bit more, but it's actually better anyway because it lubricates the engine a little bit better. Okay. Anything else to note before I go ahead and start it? I'm not even going to use the electric start. It starts on 1 pull. But like I said, the only things I had to do to it was clean it, bolt the electric starter back down, run the gas until the oil burned out so it didn't smoke like crazy, and then this crank was bent a little bit, so I just had to take it off and straighten it. Add a little bit of grease, a little WD-40 here and there, and she was good to go. And like I said, you can get these things command $300 now still easily. New, these things were $700. You could only get them at a dealership. You could not buy these at the big box store. They were a dealer only snapper. A lot of the snappers you see now made by Briggs & Stratton, you can buy at Walmart. Snapper back then wouldn't have been caught dead in Walmart, and in fact there's an article about when Simplicity bought them in 2004 where Walmart offered them a big money contract to start bringing their products in, the Snapper line of products, into Walmart, and they said no, we're not going to do it because it'll bring down the reputation of Snapper. And it's the truth, because now with Briggs & Stratton product division making Snapper and Simplicity, they make your econo line, they make the middle line, and they make the high-end line. The Snappers, a lot of the stuff is base model garbage at the same level that the Murray is now, because Murray was also picked up by Briggs & Stratton. Okay, on the other end of the spectrum, you do have Simplicities that are still dealer only, and they still have the high-end Snow Pros that they have been building since 1983 under Simplicity, that are still a dealer only $2,000 to $3,000 machine. But like I said, other than that, in general, the quality of the products have gone way downhill since Briggs & Stratton Company bought them out. This is a genuine snapper. It was built in Georgia, in the USA, by American workers. All those companies are gone now. The jobs went with them, the quality went with them, and it's just sad. It's all throwaway stuff they're making now. One of the reasons why everything is throwaway now is this is a good, perfect example. People take perfectly good machines like this that have nothing wrong with them, And you know, and this isn't even a rich neighborhood, this is a working class neighborhood, and they put them to the curb with nothing wrong with them. And then they go out and buy another one. Well, guess what? You can't buy a snowblower, a single stage snowblower this good anymore if you tried. Okay, you would have to try to find a used one like this and get it used. So, and their driveway was the same size driveway as this. This snowblower was the perfect snowblower for that driveway. So, unfortunately, Americans have this tendency to just waste, especially in New Jersey too. And that's why the rich executives that run these companies decided, well, we'll just make our shit cheaper now and sell it for around the same price, and they'll get a couple years out of it, throw it away, and come buy a new one. Whereas if you took care of something that was built with quality, it lasted a few decades. So that's the story there. A lot of people complain, oh, it's garbage now, it's made in China. I mean, those are the people that were smart and didn't throw their shit away, took care of their shit. But unfortunately, the majority of Americans don't give a shit. As soon as something minor happens to it, you know, they don't have any mechanical inclination, and they just say, oh, I'm gonna throw it away now. Or they fix it with tape and it holds together for a couple months and then it falls apart and they throw it away rather than fixing it properly. So these people that complain about the stuff that's being made in China now, it's because Americans don't give a shit. They waste, they throw stuff away, and that's the way it went. You know, unfortunately. So, that's the way it is. What else is there to note before I go ahead and start this up? Like I said, in the winter, I will show this machine in action. But yeah, those were the two things I had to do to it, and then clean it, and it's good to go. Maybe eventually I'll give it a coat of paint. It really doesn't need it. You know, under there where the paint wore off, that's gonna happen because the snow is in constant motion. The snow and ice is in constant motion, and that pulls it off right there. But other than that, I mean, yeah, this is a high quality machine. I got it for nothing. It took very little effort to bring it right to this condition. And now I'll go ahead and start it up for you real quick. Your choke lever's right here. Put it on run. I'll prime it 3 times and I'll pull the cord. I want to note that Henry from Mowers and Blowers just had one of these about a month and a half ago. His neighbors. It was one of the older ones. Okay, he fixed it for him. This was the later model. This was the last of these by Genuine Snapper. These were the best ones built. They have the taller chute. They're made, these can throw up to 10 inches of snow, no problem. 20-inch wide swath. It'll throw it up to 35 feet. It'll throw heavy wet slush and it won't clog because it's a single stage. And it'll even actually take on even heavier snow. It'll go, you know, if snow is like, say, this high over it, it'll go through it no problem. It'll take it down. But if you have snow that's this high, that's when you start using the 2-stage machines, and with snow here or below, that's where you're using your single stage machines. I find doing commercial snow removal, if it's here or down, it's actually quicker and more efficient to use one of these. Whereas if the snow's here, right, or up, then I'm using my 2-stage machines. I have a 2-stage heavy-duty Snapper 826 Series 6. It's 824 Series 6 that was built in 2001 or 2002. The last of their genuine heavy-duty snowblowers, which were also made of high quality compared to the ones they make now. And me and my brother go out and do snow removal, and we take we only had like one decent snowstorm this winter in New Jersey. It was about 8 inches, something like that. We took one single stage and one dual stage. The single stage took care of most areas. The dual stage took care of the end of the driveway, the real heavy stuff. And combined between the dual stage and the one single stage, you know, we were out for a good full day. We did probably a good 20 driveways. We made good money, and that's how it's done. But if it was just me, myself, you know, and it was a snowstorm at, like, say, 8 inches, I would just take this machine. I lift it right in my truck, lift it right out, have a can of gas with me, have my shovel and my brush, and I do just fine. And if it was a heavier snowstorm, I could just bring one of my dual stage machines and do the same thing. All right, enough talking about that. It shows right here it was sold by Groundskeeper, a mower shop and more, which was a dealership. 2545 Route 516 Aldbridge. Go figure. Okay. I don't know if they're still in business. Who knows? And now I'll go ahead and start it up for you. Like I said, it starts so easy you don't even really need to use the electric start. See, it smokes a little bit. That's natural for a 2-cycle machine. It's a little bit louder. That's a 2-cycle all the way. Sounds like a boat motor. I'm gonna go get a clamp to show the augers moving. Hang on one second. So, starts right up, has very little use, it runs like a champ. I'm sure it throws snow great. I will do a video of it in the next winter, of it throwing snow. It's lightweight. You couldn't ask for a better machine. Like I said, these are some of the best single stage snowblowers that were ever built. Definitely the best ones ever built by Snapper. Genuine Snapper, by Briggs Snapper. These were the best ones. There's very little information out on these, so I wanted to share it. I got it for nothing, and I'm definitely keeping this one. I'll have this machine for the next 30 years. I guarantee it. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention is I actually was looking for one of these because I have the brochure from when I bought my my heavy-duty Snapper, and they showed these, and I could tell that these were a really well-made unit, and I was looking for one of these. And sure enough, while I'm out here working on a leaf blower, if there wasn't a house in the way, it was close enough to where I would have seen it put out to the curb. And luckily, like I said, a family member saw it, called me, and I got it. And I'm really happy that I'm the owner of it now. I already printed the manuals because you can get them online. And like I said, besides those wear parts, the belt, the paddles, and the scraper, which you replace over time, you take care of this machine, this thing will go a very, very long time. Those Tecumseh 2-cycle engines, as long as you mix the oil and gas right and take care of them, those engines go a very long time. So I can tell you right now that this thing's probably only got a year's worth of use on it, even though it's 20 years old. I'll have it for the next 30 years, easy. At some point this might be my primary machine when I own my own home, and I'm just doing my own driveway. In fact, right now I have a shop, a two-car garage shop where I do work. This might be the machine I leave over there to clear the driveway out when I need to get in and out. So Yeah, I got blessed. It was, and I still have to work out some of the excess oil that was in there. Once I do, it won't smoke at all. All right, talk to you later. Peace.